Philippians 4:5. Let all men know and perceive and recognize your unselfishness, your considerateness, your forbearing spirit. The Lord is near, he is coming soon. Okay, now I find that very interesting because the point is, okay, this is what you need to do because Jesus is coming back soon. I mean, how many things could he have said? But he said, Jesus is coming back soon, so let your unselfishness be seen by all people. Come on, don't be in such a bad mood that you can't even give somebody a compliment. Well, you just don't know what I'm going through. Well, I do know that more than likely you'll continue to go through it if you don't learn how to walk in love. Because love is the highest form of spiritual warfare that you can do. Okay, so I'm going to do the robot for you. Oh, good. Some of you are like, many, many years ago, one of the things that went through my head all the time was, well, what about me? What about me? You know, Dave would watch football on Sunday and the kids would go out and play, and I'd cook after church, and then I'd do the dishes and I'd clean the house, and you know, everybody's enjoying their life but me. What about me? Or Dave would say on Saturday, I'm going to go play golf with the guys today, and the first thought I had was, well, what about me? Any of you ever think like that? What about me? Who's going to take care of me? Nobody does anything for me. And I was laying in bed one morning. I hadn't even gotten up yet. You know, Satan will make a bid for your mind before you're ever fully awake. And I knew that Dave was going to go to some ball game that day, and I think my kids had plans, and I'm laying there thinking, well, life is sure nice for everybody else. What about me? What about me? Who is ever going to do anything for me? I do all the work around here. I cook, I clean, they just mess it up, and I clean it up again. And the Lord began to speak to me. He said, you know, Joyce, the enemy grabs your mind early every morning, and he just winds you up and gets you ready for the day. Because, you know, your behavior is based on your thoughts. And so I was an expert at acting pitiful. So he said, you remind me of a little robot. The enemy comes and he just winds you up. What about me? What about me? What about me? And then when you put your feet on the floor, this is the way you look to me. What about me? What about me? What about me? What about me? Beep, beep. What about me? What about me? I probably should sell little electric robots. I bet I'd make some money. And I tell you what, I finally just got so sick of me. And I think that's the point we have to get to sometimes. I'm tired of thinking about me. I'm tired of worrying about me. I'm tired of trying to make everybody else take care of me. Let's do Mark 8:34. Forget yourself. Lose sight of yourself. Get yourself off your mind. Be more concerned for other people. Boy, you're excited about the thought of that, aren't you? Whew. I need a good cup of strong coffee to go finish this. Now, you know what? You're going to clap while I'm preaching, but to be a hearer of the word and not a doer means you're deceiving your own self by reasoning contrary to the truth. It can sound like a good idea when I say sacrifice for others. But when it comes to doing it, man, can we come up with all kinds of reasons why that can't be God. Well, that just can't be God. I'll tell you two stories. My mom and dad, of course, didn't take care of me. My mother didn't mistreat me, she just wasn't there for me. And my dad was just a nightmare. I don't even know how to, even other than the sexual abuse, all I remember living at home was just fear. He worked nights, and when his key would turn in the door at night, I would go. It's terrible to live in that kind of fear. If any of you have ever lived in that kind of fear, you know that it's absolutely terrible. And it takes you a good while to get over it. And so as soon as I could get away from home, I stayed away from them as much as I possibly could. Christmas and birthdays, I would send them a little money, and if I had to go visit, I would only stay as long as I absolutely had to. Then they moved from my hometown in St. Louis to southeast Missouri, about a couple hundred miles away from where we lived, and that suited me just fine because then I didn't have, I had an excuse then. You know, it's not just like an around the corner thing. I got to actually make a trip to see you. But fast forward, they're in their mid-70s, and both of their health was really bad. And they didn't really have good doctors in the areas where they lived, and they were getting to the point where they couldn't do things for themselves that needed to be done. And so one morning I was praying, being spiritual. Oh God, I surrender my life to you. Use me, God, use me. Come on, we love sounding spiritual when we pray. Oh my gosh. So, I mean, it came just like a rock. I want you to bring your parents to St. Louis, buy them a nice little house, take care of them until they die. Well, that's the devil. There is no way God would ask me to do that after the way they treated me. Went on to something else. God, show me what you want me to do. Come on, show me what you want me to do. Well, it just wouldn't go away, wouldn't go away. Every time I tried to pray, there it was again. And I thought, buy them a house? We don't have the kind of money to go out and just buy somebody a house. So I thought, well, if I am going to have to buy them a house, it's going to be a cheap one. And then God said, no, you're going to buy them a nice house. It wouldn't have been that expensive. It didn't have to be huge, but it needed to be in good shape. And but we didn't have the kind of money. I mean, we had enough money to do that, but it would have taken pretty much everything that we had saved. And I did not want to do it. I didn't think it was fair. Does God ever ask you to do anything that just doesn't seem fair? Woo. Well, after the way they treated me, I don't know why I should do anything for them. He said, well, so you'll be like me. So I thought, well, I'm going to ask Dave. There's no way that Dave's going to want to take the money we got in the bank and buy them a house. Bad mistake. I went to Dave, and he said, well, you know, if God told you to do it, you better do it. I was hoping you would disagree with God. So, long story short, we did it. We took care of them until they died, including them having to be in nursing home care for several years, and that's expensive. And then I had my widowed aunt on top of that, and when my uncle was dying, I promised him I'd take care of her. So now I had 3 people in nursing home care. Oh, yeah. And I'm running around the world doing these conferences and telling everybody how to walk in love, and so... Woo! It's so easy to talk ourselves out of stuff. That's why you got to go with what you have peace about inside, not what your head says is a good idea. Another quick story, I'll tell it to you in the mini version. I bought a new red dress and it was still under the plastic because I never had worn it. And I actually bought the dress one size too big for me because I liked it so much and that was the only size they had. But it had drop shoulders, so there was no seam on the shoulder, so you really couldn't tell that it was a little bit, you know, a little bit big. And I bought these really pretty red and silver earrings to go with it. I think I like the earrings better than the dress. And still hanging in my closet. One morning, I'm in my closet getting dressed. Your closet is not a great place to pray, ladies. I know the Bible says go in your closet and shut the door, but... So I'm trying to get dressed and I'm praying for this one certain lady who had been volunteering in our ministry for a long time. She was going to be at this meeting that I was conducting that morning. Oh, God, show me what I can do for Ruth Ann. Show me, God, how I can bless Ruth Ann. And immediately my eyes fell on that red dress. But now here, and I want you to hear this. Here's what I said. Well, that can't be God. That dress is new. Come on, we're okay with giving away all of our raggy stuff and thinking we're really big givers because we take all this stuff to the Goodwill that we wouldn't wear anymore. You're not giving till you feel it. Come on. I said you're not giving until you feel it. So, long story short, I forgot about it. A few weeks later, I'm praying for Ruth Ann. I was like Jonah, go to Nineveh. I went the opposite direction, got swallowed up by a whale. And after God, he repented, and God caused the whale to spit him up on dry ground. Next verse says, and God said to Jonah, go to Nineveh. So give Ruth Ann the red dress. But God, I bought those pretty earrings to go with that dress. He said, well, I was going to let you keep them, but if it's a bother, just give those to her too. So when Ruth Ann retired from the ministry, she gave me back the red dress. And we have it at the ministry. It's one of our, like, memento things that we look at. And I took it one day to the place where I buy my clothes, and the lady had sold me this dress, and I put it on, and we had such a laugh. It was not even a pretty dress. Unless we are willing to die to self, we abide alone. We live isolated, lonely lives. Very few people would call us friend, and when we're gone, nobody really cares that much that we're no longer here. We've traveled through life and the world is no better because we were here. Let me ask you, what are you leaving in this world as a legacy?